Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday. I've got a lot of things going on this weekend, but first and foremost, I wanted to come online and talk to everybody. I'm dying inside because I want to tell you what to do, but I'm not. I'm just going to talk to you about some stuff, and you can make your own decisions, okay? So for starters, there's this. This is one of my favorite products. This is not the ordinary powdered milk that you might have grown up with. It's not nasty like that with no flavor and everything. This actually is a very good quality. It has the consistency of, say, baby formula. And I've used this to make milk, yogurt, cream cheese, sour cream. You could make a kind of a half and half out of it. Cheddar cheese, jack cheese, farmer's cheese, cream cheese, did I say cottage cheese? All of those dairy products can be replaced by just this. Okay, I did do a video how to make farmer's cheese. Go back and look at that. I will, if I have time, do some follow-up videos over the weekend of using that farmer's cheese and turning that into, say, cottage cheese, cream cheese, things like that. And I will try to get a video out of using a starter to make sour cream with this, and I will also show you how to make yogurt with this. This will cover all of those dairy products that might, well, a majority of the dairy products that might be hard to find over the next few weeks and possibly months. So I would say get this. You can find it at Walmart. I think it's $25 a can. This is the big can. This will go a long way. If you can, get a couple cans. Something else to get and consider shelf-stable product would be your oil. Oil can be turned into mayonnaise, remember that, and it's really good. You can cook with it, so a myriad of things you can make having oil in the house. Canned goods, there might be some trouble getting some produce in the next few weeks or months, so, well, what are you going to do about it? If you don't have time to dehydrate, freeze dry, or freeze anything, or the cost of buying it all fresh is just out of reach, we'll go grab you some canned goods. You could get canned vegetables, you can get canned fruit. You don't have to you get nice expensive stuff if you want, or get the cheap stuff like you want. Also, you could get the beets, all kinds of different vegetables that you can pick up, and applesauce would be really good. If you saw my videos on how to cook and bake without eggs and without butter, applesauce is one of the highest things on the list that you could use to replace eggs or butter in a recipe. So you can still bake. You're still going strong, even though things in the world might seem strange and you can't find butter or eggs or it's too expensive. You have substitutes that you can use, and I've shown you. Go look up my videos. Another good thing to keep in the house, of course, mine's getting low, but flour. Always keep flour. Maybe go grab you a couple of bags today. Another thing, I'm just right here, is sugar. Sugar's awesome to have. You can, make biscuits and throw a spoon of these in of sugar. You can still function, is what I'm saying. These are shelf-stable products. You can get them, shove them in your pantry, and you can still function. Now, what about grains? Oats are good to keep in the house. Grits, things like that. They're really smart. Rice, you want to keep rice. You can get beans in the can or by the bag. Cheap, cheap, cheap. I would grab those. You can put them in the crock pot. Put them in a bowl of water overnight if you buy the dried kind. Throw them in the crock pot the next day. Let them just cook on low. And then you've got a meal that you can serve your family. Cornmeal, that's really smart to have. You can just serve it with the bread. You don't even have to put meat in it. And that can be a good meal, and that can last you a few days. Other things to go and grab a hold of if you can are some soups. They're a real quick dinner, really cheap. In case you get to the store and it's a little scary, people are panicking, or the prices are just a little bit too beyond your budget, for meats, go and grab you some cans. You can also buy canned meat. I've got salmon, tuna, chicken, things like that. You can find Spam. Spam's not bad in a pinch. What else? Oh, salt. You want your food to taste good. Grab you some salt. Also, it wouldn't hurt to get baking powder and yeast so that you can maintain some bread in your house. If you're into sourdough, then you understand you're capturing that yeast almost out of the air, so you don't need to have yeast for sourdough. But you could make yeast from just bread and water, flour and water and some sugar. You can make your own sourdough starter with that. But there's a lot of things that you can survive on if you had to that are super, super basic. Okay, so with cereal, if you have kids, you could make the instant oatmeal. I have, I think, a short on that I did. You could do instant oatmeal. You can also make granola out of this. And granola always goes over good, especially if you put something in it that the kids like, so like crunchy nuts or some coconut or something in there. I don't know, little bits of chopped chocolate. Chocolate's going to be a problem with this strike that's coming. Booze, it's going to be a problem if it's imported. I would suggest, if you could afford it, to grab a few bottles of that, because it's good for medicinal purposes and to what my friend Jean at the Winchester Mystery House would call smoothing the edges. When things are hard and sharp, you want a little something to smooth the edges. I thought that was the most classic comments. It'll always stay with me. But in all seriousness, you can use alcohol for a bunch of different things, and you can barter with it, because maybe you don't have a taste for it, but maybe somebody down the street who has eggs does, and you might be able to trade. Now, I don't know if it's going to get that bad. I don't know if we're going to have to resort to bartering, but I like to be, you know, mindful of those things in case it does happen. Flour you can use to make crackers, all kinds of biscuits and things like that for the kids if they're needing that. You can have jelly in the house. That's a really good snack. It's just very versatile to keep flour. You can make pancakes and waffles. And I used to have leftover pancakes when my kids were small, or leftover waffles. And sometimes I'd freeze them if there were enough. And sometimes I would just keep them for snacks later that day and put some peanut butter or honey on it, and the kids ate them up just fine. Something else my family loved was popcorn. Popcorn's a really good thing to keep in the house. It fills everybody up, plus it's a downer. Did you know that? It was always fun for me. I would make the kids what I called mess lunches. And it would consist basically of maybe half of a quesadilla, half of an apple, a big handful of popcorn, some cheese maybe. I don't know. It's just a mishmash of whatever I had. If I had a little bit of stew in the fridge from the night before, or pasta, things like that. And the kids, I would lay a big sheet down or a blanket on the floor, and I'd hand them all their plates with their mess lunches on it, and they would just munch and munch, watching their favorite show or movie, and then conk out. Yes. Get a few minutes for myself when they would have a nap. It was great times. There's a lot of different shelf-stable products that you can pick up, and I just wanted to share those things with you so that you could kind of avoid going and having to hit, you know, butter and coffee mixes and coffee. What do you add to coffee? Wow, my brain just went out. Anyway, creamers. You can make those things yourself if you have just some shelf-stable products, so you don't have to go and buy all those things on your list that you would normally buy, okay? If you can do that and get some extra stuff, that's fantastic. Do it. But if you can only do some things for shelf stability that are going to last you longer, I would imagine, because everybody's wanting their comfort right now, and they're going to want it even more possibly in the next few weeks and months, that the coffee creamer is probably going to go sky high in price and become a little bit more hard to find. Shelves might be a little emptier, so make your own coffee creamer, and I did do a video on that also. You can flavor it however you want. And it's just from shelf-stable products like milk and sugar. And that's it, and some flavoring. Watch the video, you'll see for yourself. Again, use the Nido product. So that would cover a lot of stuff. So instead of going through your dairy aisle and finding, you've got to do, you're panicking, you need milk and you need butter and you need sour cream and cottage cheese and cream cheese, and you need your cheeses from the fridge section over there, and you've got to get all the stuff, and oh no, we're going to need lunch meats, and when you can just have some shelf-stable stuff. So skip all that stuff. Go get the shelf-stable stuff. Oopsie, I said I wasn't going to tell you what to do. Oops. Well, you could do this. You could. Bread's going to be rough. Make your own bread. Throw it together. There's even breads out there that you don't need to have a bread machine for, and even knead-free bread. You don't need to have that. You can knead it yourself is what I mean. There's English muffin bread and all kinds of battered breads that you can put together with just a few ingredients. So these are just some shelf-stable things that I wanted to share with you that would get you by for quite a long time, I think, if you had to. But I would hope that people might choose to do this stuff sooner than later. You have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday to go do a little bit of grocery shopping if you can, and just kind of hit up some of these suggestions if you want. Anything that's shelf stable that you could use in 4 or 5 different ways is the way you want to go, if you choose to do that. If you can get some fresh produce might be a good idea to go ahead and get, and then see how long it lasts. But if you're trying to keep it in the house for some time because it looks like it might be 2, 3, 4 weeks or maybe months or something of instability, then you might want to go with some canned fruits and vegetables. I did do a little bit more research on the whole thing with the strike, and if they strike, yeah, that's a problem, but it carries on after that. You have the congestion of the ports. You've got to go think back to 2020 all over again. Same thing. You have congestion. Now you have them trying to ship it, and the cost from all of that that's going to come and trickle down on all of us. Okay. And then you've got people on top of that. One of the, who was it? I forget. Some Fox News person had some guy on there I really didn't like, and he was talking about the whole thing, but he was saying that it's majority of the problem is based upon money, and that the longshoremen, he kind of suggested as though they were being a little greedy, which I thought that he was kind of an idiot. That was just my opinion. But the host on Fox had said, which I don't normally watch, by the way, she had said that is the third catalyst to the problems that we're looking at, is people panicking and going and clearing off those shelves, just like 2020. And if you remember right, they would have the shipping. So like you could go to Target and ask them, hey, when are you getting toilet paper, paper towel again? And they would say probably Thursday morning. Well, so you'd be up and at 'em and you're ready to go Thursday morning and pick up whatever you need, but it's gone because everybody is just wiping it out as it's coming. So even though it was still coming in, you're still dealing with everybody and the panic of them going in, well, I don't know when the next time I'll get this. Grab. If you can avoid that, avoid that. And the final thing I'll bring up is try to balance how you use your things. It's not a bad suggestion. So instead of pigging out every meal, maybe kind of dial it back and try to put yourself on a little bit of a rationing thing so that you're just kind of keeping things a little longer. Maybe serve a little bit more bread with your dinner to fill everybody up, or maybe some beans with every meal to fill everybody up instead of, the big, Fred Flintstone size thing of meat on the plate with a piece or two of broccoli. I don't know. I thought I would share all this stuff with you. I did forget to say water again. I've done this before and I'm like, wow, you need water. If you could use your tap and it's good water, use your tap. But other than that, maybe some emergency water wouldn't be a bad idea if you were taking advice from somebody like me today who's not telling you what to do. I got a lot to do today, and it's gonna be a good day. I can feel it. Regardless of what happens, the Lord's in control. He's not asleep at the wheel. None of these things are a shock to him. So stay faithful and stay strong. Hit like if you don't mind. Share with like-minded people. The channel's growing and that makes me really happy. I didn't know that this was going to be like this, so I'm really excited. I had no clue that this channel would, it's been, I think, 6 weeks since I started this channel. And it's jumped, and I'm really excited about it because that means I'm not crazy. There's other people like me that are doing the same things that I'm doing, that are interested in the same things that I'm interested in. Years ago, you guys, years ago, and I promise I'll stop talking. You could be at a dozen different other channels, but you're listening to me, and that's awesome. If you get this far, I hope this makes everything worth it. But years ago, I had this mentality, and I was with a person who did not have this mentality. And I remember all the kids were small. So many kids, 7 little kids. And I had the same mentality back then. Working outside of the home was almost impossible. I had tried several times and everything at home fell apart. So having a career with all these kids and homeschooling was impossible. But I remember being sad and lonely and feeling like no one was listening to me. Absolutely before the internet, you guys. So I didn't have an outlet. I had my church and maybe 2 friends to confide in, and my mom, my sisters. But I felt alone in this battle. And I do remember telling my spouse that I was very sad, very depressed, and felt alone. And his response was, "You need a job." That's what he said to me. And he said, "These aren't the days of Jesus. We need you to go to work." And I was shocked. I was shocked. I did get a job, and it didn't help. It didn't. My grandmother even offered at the time. She said, "How much would you make if you worked part-time?" And I said, "About $400 a month." And she says, "How about I pay you the $400 a month so you stay home?" I didn't take her up on the offer. I went and got a job, and it just made everything much harder. Everything was so much harder. And I was ill from just working constantly. But I had no outlet. And now here I am, all these years later, and I feel like I can share what I know and what I've been through with you guys, and that I actually have a kinship with you. And I'm just really excited. Really didn't expect this. I started this channel to try to teach my kids. And I'm just really excited that you're all here along for the ride. And I look forward to learning more from you and sharing with you. So if that matters at all, hey, subscribe. And we've got more to go over soon. And talk at you guys again later. Bye-bye.